What's going on, everybody? This is part two of making and maintaining friends as adults. Thank you, listeners, for engaging with the podcast. We're going to kick it off with a question, continuing the conversation, making space for friends. What does that look like in your guys' adult life?
One thing I know I specifically do, especially with my artist friends, including y'all, coming from Ringland, all of my artist friends, but trying to give as much opportunity as I can. If I'm having a DJ gig coming up, trying to get one of my artist friends to do an illustration or a graphic for it. I know I worked with y'all. I know I worked with Brandon for my soul karaoke show. Have him make a little logo. Justin, I know I work with you. I remember doing the mini C, the animated mini C. Yeah, that
Right.
was fun. So yeah, just reaching out to different people and giving them opportunity. I think that keeps the relationship and friendship going. But also, that gives us opportunity to check in with each other and, see how each other is doing while simultaneously working together and pushing each other forward.
To answer that question, I think being intentional about, making the choice to want to salvage the relationship or maintain the relationship. And you can start by doing simple things, a simple hello can suffice. And if if the person reaches out to you and, saying hello and ask how you're doing, answer their question, but also, reciprocate, like keep the conversation going. That shows the other person that you are actually really interested in it.
Yeah.
I guess for me, to answer the same question, I would say I guess I have three different levels, like depending on like this easy mode, medium, and difficult. And so easy mode would be something like at the very beginning of a week, I could just send like a message to check up on my friends, be like, "Hey, happy new week. How you doing?" Same thing for like Fridays or Saturday on the weekend. I'd be like, "Hey, do you have anything planned for this weekend? Are you excited about anything?" And so that's easy mode for me. But then if I really want to get super involved, sometimes I know my friends are gonna be in certain locations, like they're going to be at church or they're going to be at this event. And so I will make my way to go out there, even if I don't feel like it, like I don't want to go out tonight. But I know my friends are going to be there and I want to check up with them because it's quite something different, like catching up with somebody when you're in person versus just sending like a text message or sending an email, if people still do that. So that's what I could do if I really want to get involved. And then just being an artist, sometimes when I do have the time, I will actually like write letters, but not just any letter. I will like decorate and use some graphic design to create some really cool artworks and just make something for my friend to be like, hey, I was thinking about you and I just wanted you to have this piece of artwork that reminds me about you. So, but that's very involved. So I don't always do that because it takes time to do that.
Good point. I loved and I'm in full agreement that you mentioned art as the common ground to collaborate with stuff. We've mentioned in other podcast episodes before this one, just staying connected through that, as well as being present and interruptible to include your friends in small things. Doesn't have to be the flashy stuff or always an outing, depending on the friendship or how far they are. Just staying equally interested in what's going on in their life. For context to people listening, CJ mentioning Mini C, that was an animation and it was like him in 2D for an event. And honestly, it was for a competition, right? That you won question mark.
Yeah, it was for the trustee scholarship at our school.
Bet. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to make and that's a testament to collaborating together on a creative thing. And even if someone listening isn't as creative like with art, they could maybe take inventory of the normal things they do on just an everyday basis and incorporate their friends. Like a lone gym visit could actually turn into a group thing or just a I don't know, maybe a one-on-one appointment and have a friend come and make it like a whole like gym bros experience and that's one way of staying involved. But in light of friendships being hard as adults, conflict is eventually going to come up. I believe conflict is healthy But can you guys speak on times where that made you want to almost run? Like when a friendship gets hard, it's like people shy away from conflict. They suddenly think that they can't be friends anymore if they disagree or they clash heads. So, as adults, how can conflict actually make a friendship grow?
I guess to get started, I would say that I did have an experience where back when I was in school, I mean, in college, you get to make so many different types of friends. And one thing that I appreciated about our school was that it was very international. And so I got to make friends, some of whom came from as far as Asia. And so like countries as far as like Korea or Singapore. So I had situations where like I had a friend and I was getting to know them very well. And obviously, as friends, you want to go out, maybe catch a meal and have dinner together. But I would come across situations where my friend would be in a situation where like I want to hang out with them, but also somebody else who's also like, for example, maybe Asian would like to hang out with them. And they had to make like a choice between hanging out with me and the other person. And so I found myself in situations where some of my friends chose in that specific situation to hang out with the other person. And in a way, I don't want to say I wasn't welcome, but it would have been awkward for me to be a part of that. But obviously, I didn't tell them that. I wish I could have been able to, I guess, express some of those feelings and be like, hey, it felt kind of bad. Like I wish you would have chosen me in that situation. But I understand sometimes, people, not everything goes the way that you want it to go, and you don't always get your way. But I tried not to hold it against them, and we might not be as close as I wanted us to be. But I think I still tried to just keep my friendship with them, even if it was never going to be the same. I still try to respect them and always be available. And so if they ever want to reach out to me, I'm always going to be available.
A friendship worth fighting for is a friendship worth keeping. Uh, I wouldn't say I live by the statement, but one of my favorite quotes is "We ride together, we die together." Does anybody know what movie that's from? Not Brandon. Vince.
Gonna be bad boys, right?
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bad Boys, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence.
I was just using context clues because I didn't really know.
You actually didn't know that? That's
I
crazy.
haven't seen Bad Boys.
All right, how do we kick him out of this meeting? But yeah, so I can't speak for every conflict that I've gone through and every just testament of what everyone else experienced. But for most of my experience, I feel like if we get through a conflict, even if we enter a conflict, if we can resolve that conflict, then we're most likely still going to be friends. Like, I don't think there's things that's super deep that we need to end a friendship based off of, depending on the situation. I'm not going to say I'm just friends with everybody and I let everyone do everything, but there are some times you have to check your friends and be like, hey, 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 what you doing right there? Hey, that was messed up. Hey, that was disrespectful. Hey, I don't like the way you did that there. But then once you have that conversation, once you have that argument, you realize how strong that friendship actually is. Because if you're just in agreement all the time and you can't have those hard conversations, it's probably, again, I can't speak for everyone, but it's probably not a friendship that's being 100% honest with itself and that's even worth having because you're going to need someone to get down and dirty with one of these days.
Accountability, mutual respect is what it's sounding like for sure. There should be space to make room for mistakes. Otherwise, everybody's like walking on eggshells, I guess, in the friendship. It's like, oh man, I can't actually be human around them almost, or like have like emotionally dead feelings because like the littlest thing you say could like strike a chord, and it's bound to happen as humans like make mistakes, but that's a sign of maturity, is continuing forward. And like for me, I'm thinking of times where probably what I was going through in life might have affected my mood, and like people around me could pick up on that. So post college, like trying to find work, or even just being in a transition phase, and the discouragement that comes from certain like hiring opportunities falling through, the friends around me at the time probably weren't getting the very best version of me when I was like in the dumps, but them standing in the trenches with me gave me strength when I was lacking it to push forward, and I could confide in them like, man, I'm not in the best mood, but that's not for me to take out on you just because life is hard in these moments. Like, not only as a creative, just as a struggling human when life is hard, friends that would like encourage you, pray for you, and speak the truth to you, whether you like it or not, and just like, keep you in check. So, Brandon, how about you when it comes to conflict in friendships?
When it comes to conflict in friendships, I kind of have PTSD from it because I don't remember who the heck it was. Uh, but in my youth, when I would voice my opinion about something, I'd get told I was too much or that person would leave. So I'm more vocal with my concerns now, but it always stresses me out to have conflict with people. And when I do have them, my mind will automatically go to, oh, that person's going to leave because of all that stuff that happens. If I get upset because, or if they get upset with me because dot, 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 then, oh, well, we're done. That's how it is in my mind. And again, I'm the type of person to say this to you earlier. I'm the type of person to say we're friends until one of us verbalizes that we are not friends. Even though nobody said that, I'll still act like we aren't. Not act like, but respond as if we aren't, because that's just, I guess, my defense mechanism for it because of things that happened to me before. Yeah, I had something else I was gonna add in there, but I forgot.
Hmm. That's real though. Um,
Oh, I'm sorry, I did. I remember. And I'm pretty much of a recluse, so I will definitely, I guess, draw inward and then separate myself from everybody. Sometimes it can take me a minute to get myself together and gather my thoughts about it. Everybody can have, what do they call it, a silver tongue or something like that? I don't know. Everybody can have a silver tongue, and I'm so intentional about my friendships that I don't want to lash out and just say anything because words definitely hurt and they can cut deeply. So I personally don't want to ruin any of my friendships by, you know, not explaining what I genuinely want them to know in a healthy way. It'll take me a long time to figure out how to say it in a healthy way. But when I get there, it's definitely fine. And you definitely find out who your real friends are, how they, deal with that conflict, and then how they deal with the makeup as well. Do they even want to reconcile after that? Do they take the time to understand why you were upset about that thing or why the issue happened in the first place? And if you're still friends after that, that's a I would say that's a great friend to have.
even us being friends had a short falling out or maybe bruise on the relationship, we came out of it better by just leaving the line of communication open and also acknowledging someone's feelings, even if you don't understand or maybe agree, taking accountability for like words and actions that came off hurtful or seeing an opportunity to explain yourself, but it might have been a misunderstanding or a genuine offense that like someone owns up for as a friend. What we spoke on in part one of this episode with busyness, taking inventory of our lives and like what we do on the regular to invite friends to come along eliminates that excuse. The same way how marking out some time to plan ahead and write in your calendar, oh, like I'm going to be intentional with so and so today at this time, removes the excuse of forgetting to stay in touch. So, as adults, if the friendship is genuinely worth keeping and you notice they're putting in the effort and they're investing in you, it's healthy in the sense that you're aware, oh, like we're both investing in this, and lifetime friendships, the rare ones that are like so valuable and treasured, can be the greatest feeling. It's like, man, I've got a tribe. It takes a village to get work done. Like when we were in film, CJ knows, like, it just takes a village. And with anything, you're gonna meet people in school, at work, or like at kickball club or something, and realize like, yo, we have this, that, and the third in common or whatever. Shout out to you guys. And for anyone listening who has a friend like that and can think of, man, like bestie or whoever it is, fill in the blank, reach out to them, text them, call them if you haven't in a minute or something, and see what they're up to, how you can love on them today or at the time you're listening to this podcast. The next thing you do, possibly.
Yeah,
But
matter of fact, nah, do that right now. We'll wait.
we'll wait.
Hear y'all typing or dialing or calling or something. Do it right now. No
Yeah.
excuses.
You making that bowl of cereal. Get your behind up and get on that phone.
Right. No, but in all seriousness, like things like that can make someone's day, and it goes a long way. It really goes a long way. Speaking from someone with experience and like from someone doing that to me, and that's something I can do more, and I think all of us can do more. It's just randomly reaching out to those people that whether it's a friend or a family member, like just reach out.
I guess just to piggyback on what CJ just said, something about you never know what a comment could do for you or for the next person. So there's this experiment, or it's more of like a prank that's on social media where guys call their friends, like their male friends, and they just be like, "Hey, I just wanted to call you to say goodnight. I just wanted to check up on you." And of course, the guy friend is like, "Wait, are you like for serious? Like, did you just call me just to tell me that to tell me goodnight?" And at first they're confused, but then it takes them a while. But after a few seconds, like some of the guys started to get emotional because it's like guys don't normally check up on each other. Like that's something that women do. And so like CJ said, like everybody appreciates like being checked on, and it feels nice and you feel appreciated. And I think that's something that we should all try to do, as uncomfortable as it is. So like if you are a guy listening to this right now and you have a couple of friends in your inbox, like you should just try and call one of them and tell them good night and see what happens. You never know.
You got me thinking when you said that on the question many people have asked before. I'm gonna pose it in this episode, but whether guys and girls could truly be friends, platonically, and just what do y'all think on that? I say yes. What do you think on that, CJ?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely have some female friends that I have nothing attached with, would never want anything attached with. Uh, but I think they're great people, great friends, and they help me become a better man to find someone that I want to have an attachment with from the female's perspective.
Right, of course.
Beyonce being one of them. Shout out to you, Beyonce.
I'd like to hear Brandon's answer on this.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Can guys and girls be platonic friends?
Yes, I've had multiple platonic friends, female friends, absolutely. How should I say this? I'm not sure how I should say this, but just because you are a man and a woman does not mean that you have to immediately have an attraction to each other or be in a relationship. That's like saying, maybe this isn't the best analogy, but oh, there's a man and a woman standing one behind the other in a line. They're together just because you see them standing next to each other. That's not the case. The society and everybody are so quick to romanticize everything because that's what is on everybody's mind. For some reason, you know, God put us on this earth and gave us the command to, what is it, multiply, be
Yeah.
fruitful and multiply. But that's not all that he put on here. However, some people are just they take that and run with it, and they think a relationship, just relationship with somebody is all that is to be in life. Like that's the only
Right.
thing that exists in life. I guess that's just why, I don't know why they really think that. Maybe just because they want something. Man was not meant to walk this earth alone. So I do believe that, that doesn't have to just be romantic. You can definitely have some uh, platonic friends.
Absolutely. And same here. I have some platonic friends that have added to my life and benefited me and just been super supportive. So, with another question to pose, if you guys could quickly say a friendship you had lost that you wished continued, what is the friendship and why? Any stories you guys have?
I think any friend I've had in elementary school, I wish I could have at least one of those friendships back. I don't think any of them ended in like an immature way. It was just I moved to a different city, and we didn't have social media back then. We had leapfrogs and VTEX and flip phones. But y'all know nothing about that. Y'all too young. Y'all don't know about the trenches. I didn't have no idea what Wi-Fi was. Do you remember when they used to bring out the iPod touches in class? We thought we were the thing when they brought out
Bro,
big cart with the iPod touches, man, or even the laptops. It didn't even have to be an iPod. It was just laptops. And now I'm going on a whole rant about how old I am. But moral of the story is we didn't have that type of social media like we have today where we can keep up with friends and see what they're doing. So I lost a lot of friendships at a young age because I was either moving or they decided to move or they decided to move churches. So I say all that to say I get very jealous of people who've had friends since elementary school because to see that natural growth between yourself and someone else and just see that through pictures and videos and just memories is an insane thing. And you should be grateful to have, especially when it comes to like wedding day and you have someone standing right by your side next to you as your best man or groomsman, someone you've known since kindergarten and since y'all was eating cheese sticks for lunch. Some of y'all are probably still eating cheese sticks for lunch. Y'all should add some meat in that diet, Justin. Not just playing. Uh, but yeah, I would say any friendship from elementary school.
CJ saying that because I'm vegan for the listeners out there. We'll get into that in a future episode because we are trying to. I'm gonna have y'all rate. Um, Actually, no. What I'm gonna have y'all do is cook for me. I'll rate y'all's dishes and judge them. But
You getting fried pork chops with some Gouda mac and cheese from me.
You know what? You know what? We'll have one day we'll start this. We'll have a game. We'll see how many times Justin says I'm vegan in an episode, or how many episodes does
this is the
Justin
first. This is the
vegan.
first marker of on We Just Here. I'm vegan. Fun fact. Um, but yeah, CJ, what you said was real talk. For me, really quickly, I had a friend not as early as elementary, but in middle school, introduced me to lacrosse, and we would play at the park and everything near our school. It's almost like an out of sight, out of mind thing where once we broke out into high school, kind of drifted. And that's unfortunate because there was an era where he really was a best friend, considered him one, and we did a lot, hung out and things like that. But distance basically scares people, but still making that call, still checking in on them and being intentional is so important.
I guess for me, I would say elementary school. I did have one friend who I would consider the only best friend I ever had. And to qualify that, it's because we used to live next to each other. So we could literally I could literally just walk over and go visit them. And we'd hang out all the time and just go different things. And we were very close for a very long time. But as Justin mentioned, sometimes like distance tends to kill off some relationships. And so what happened to me is that his family moved to another area, like completely different city. And we try to keep in touch with communication, talking over the phone and stuff like that. But but yeah, over time the distance just I think we all got busy with school and everything. Like when I went to high school, I think I was just busy trying to survive. You know how high school can be. So I don't think since that time I haven't really had anybody like reach the same level as I did with that friend. And so I wish either one I could in some way be able to reconnect with him, or at least I hope that I could find another friendship where, we could be that close. And so I'll keep an eye open for that.
For sure. Brandon, any last thoughts?
I was just interested to hear what you guys had to say.
Yeah, to recap, in both parts, we honestly backtracked on how we were friends and maintained that over our college years. As adults, we think a location or a change in status or life stuff getting in the way can discourage deep friendships, but in reality, it's seeing who's around nearby and where the people are at to potentially make a new strong friendship by having common ground and investing in them, but even existing friendships to be involved, making conscious effort to be in their lives and everything. And openness to being vulnerable is so key because real friendships incorporate real talk and not just always telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. We live in such a connected world with podcasts and social media and like apps and everything that make us so dependent on cell phones and screens, but people are lonely out there. And so, for anyone listening who feels that way, there are friends and potential new lifelong connections to be made just by taking the time. With all that being said, thank y'all for listening and engaging with us on YouTube and on Spotify. We look forward to the next episode that'll release. No spoilers. We appreciate y'all. We've been having a lot of fun. We're going to go into it.
And if you're truly our friend, you'd leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share. And you'll reach out to a friend today, tonight, and just say, "What's up?"